across the canvas, like so. Just about like so. Maybe we'll have a little water in here. I love water. I think it's so gorgeous. And it's very easy to paint in this technique. And we'll reflect a little of that color right down into the water. And then, I'll tell you what, without cleaning the brush, let's just go into a little bit of the yellow ochre. Once again, we do not need a great deal of paint here, just a little paint. Go right above the yellow, still making our little crisscross strokes, our little X's. And just like that, we'll lay in a little bit of the yellow ochre. There, yellow ochre is sort of a nice gold color. It's beautiful. Beautiful little color. And we'll reflect a little of that into our water. There. Shoot. Time to get crazy. Time to get crazy. Let's go right into the bright red. And still, we haven't washed the brush. Just a little bit of the bright red. And right up here, making our little X's, little crisscross strokes, we'll add a little bit of that. And red's such a warm color. It just makes you feel good when you look at it. Makes you happy. You almost can't help it. Just sort of warms up your whole day. But too much of it will set your world on fire. So all we want is just a nice pinkish, reddish glow up here in the sky. That's all we're looking for today. And while I have that on the brush, we'll just add a little of that down here too. In the water, we're just going to reflect the same basic colors that we have in our sky. Something about like that. There. Now then, still haven't washed the brush. I look for ways that are easy. In technical terms, that's known as laziness. There. We'll take a little bit of the phthalo blue and alizarin crimson, mix them together right on the brush. And let's go right up in here. And with that color, it's sort of a lavender color, we'll just fill in the top of the sky. Phthalo blue and alizarin crimson. And you can take this to the blue side or the red side, just sort of depends on your mood and how you feel. It's strictly and completely up to you. Maybe I tell you what, look here. Add a little bit more color to my brush. Maybe in our world there lives, yep, you're right, just a happy little cloud up here. We can make the indication of a little cloud just by tapping. There he is. There he is. Little cloud, oh, big cloud. So you can just let it go. Let your imagination take you wherever you want to go. But all we're doing is just tapping in some basic little shapes here. Maybe we'll put one on the other side. We don't want him left out. And just beat the devil. That really is the fun part of this whole technique. Just clean the brush. Now, very lightly. 3 hairs and some air. We'll just go right over those. Just blend them. And it'll make instant clouds. And the more you blend them, the softer they'll become. And you can continue to blend them till they absolutely just disappear. It's up to you. Up to you. Painting. Let's build us a little mountain. For that, we'll use some black, a little Prussian blue, a little alizarin crimson, maybe some Van Dyke brown. So we have black, Prussian blue, alizarin crimson, a little Van Dyke brown. Pull the paint out as flat as you can get it. Really get tough with it. Cut across, get our little roll of paint. Lives right on the edge of the knife. Now you have to make your first major decision. Where does your mountain live? Maybe in our world? Yep, it does now. Our mountain lives right there. With a very firm pressure, just literally push the paint right into the fabric. Right into the fabric. This is a chance to really get tough. Take out all your frustrations and hostilities and whatever. Maybe there's another little peak right there. Wherever you want them. Wherever you want them. This technique is so fantastic because it allows you individuality. We use no patterns, no tracings. And we just want to show you a technique and turn you loose on the world. Because the canvas is wet, you can move this paint. You can pull it. It'll slide right on top of there. Just like so. Now if we had a dry canvas, at this point you'd be in agony city because the paint will not move like it does on this wet surface. And that's what the liquid white does. It allows us to actually blend color right up here. Blend color. And it's also an excellent way here of laying out your whole mountain. By pulling it in the direction like this, downward, you can begin laying out all the different ideas for highlights and shadows in your mountain without being committed. There we go. Now then, let's put a little highlight on that mountain. Today, let's take titanium white. I'll reach up here and we'll get a little of the midnight black. I want a grayish color. So just black and white, like that. There, just mix it a little, but I want to leave it sort of marble, so there's a lot of things happening in there. Pull the paint out, and once again, our little roll of paint right on the edge of the knife. Touch, no pressure, and just follow right down the mountain there, but no pressure. Absolutely no pressure. There, if you've painted with us before, you've probably heard me talk about when I was teaching my son Steve to paint. I used to tell him just to pretend that he was a whisper that just floated right across the mountain. And that way he understood how delicate of a touch. So maybe that's a good analogy, good way to remember it. Just be a whisper that floats across here. Very delicate. And by applying no pressure, it allows this paint to break. In other words, it leaves all these little holes in it. And that's what really makes it look neat. Just use the corner of the brush, and as you work down a tree, push harder and harder, bending the bristles. Down here, ooh, we're really getting tough. We're just bending it all the way down to the furrow. Get tough. Show it who's boss. These little evergreens live right in your fan brush. You just sort of at times have to really get forceful and push them out. There they go. Here comes another one. And you decide how many trees you want. You decide. Really, all we're trying to do here is show you a technique. We use no patterns or no tracings. It's strictly up to you, because you can to compose and create your paintings as you go. And you look at them. You'll begin to see things. And with practice, you'll be able to see more and more. After you've done a dozen paintings or so, you won't believe what you can do. Every day I get letters from fantastic people all over the United States. Put some little sparkles out here on these bushes. Look at their sun's playing through there and just zinging through. A little yellow ochre here and there, a little Indian yellow. Occasionally, at least a little touch of the bright red. And just vary your colors. Vary your colors. There we go. And work in layers. Do one little bush at a time. Don't get greedy. Sometimes it starts working so well, we decide to do all of our bushes at once, and then there's no separation between them, no depth. Poor little bush just gets lost there. There, a little heavier in the yellow ochre, just enough to change the flavor a little bit, make it stand out as an individual. There we go. Now, on the other side, we'll do the same basic thing. Sap green, cad yellow, Indian yellow, yellow ochre. There. Grab a little bit more of the green. Look at that. Did you ever think you could make all these gorgeous bushes that easy? You really can. Really and truly can. There. Okay, and maybe, tell you what, let's have some fun. Let's just reflect a little of that down into the water. I don't want a lot of reflection, but just a little. Just tap a little of that color right down into the water. On the other side, same thing. There. You can make some of the most beautiful reflections in this technique that you've ever seen. And when I was a traditional painter, reflections were one of those things that absolutely drove me crazy. And in this technique, it may be one of the easiest things that happens. Just come across. But when you pull this down, oh, so gentle. One hair and some air. That gentle, easy. Caress it very lightly. Very, very gently. Now then, let's put a few little trunks in our trees. We'll take some white, a little dark sienna, mix them together. Tiny little roll of paint on the knife. We can go up in here, decide where your trunk lives in the tree. Just touch. And let's put some land under all this. Pull sort of the angle that you think the land would flow. Remember that water always sets in a recessed area. So chances are that there's sort of an angle coming down like this. There we go. Chances are. That's not 100% true, but most of the time. A little brown and white. Come right back in here. No pressure. It's just like putting snow on the mountain. Just like putting snow on the mountain. There. The angles are very important here. Very important. You wouldn't want to bring these straight down. It'll look like cliffs hanging there. There we go. A little bit of our liquid white. That'll give us a little water line. Clean the bottom up. Sort of bring it all together. There we go. There. A little back in here. Maybe a little ripple here and there and there and here. We're real good in here. And from all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting and God bless, my friend.